Saturday's boxing match set for Echo Arena in Liverpool, Merseyside, in the UK, featured Ben Whitaker in a main event taking on Brian Suarez. The outcome of that main event wasn't quite what we would have liked. However, there is something to be said about this card and something that transpired on the undercard, as well as why the original main event didn't take place. Let's talk about this fight card, the undercard specifically, as there's something I'd like to address. Saturday, April 18th fight card from Liverpool was originally supposed to feature Liam Smith and David Morrell. This was potentially a very good matchup at the light heavyweight division. It would have seen Smith moving up and campaigning with wishes for title. Morrell is looking to bounce back after his situation with David Benavidez. He's already had one victory under his belt, but he is also full of title aspirations. The fight got scratched due to one of the gentlemen suffering an injury. Now, that made one of the undercards personnel available for the main event, and that was Ben Whitaker. Now, Whitaker readily stepped into that role because Ed Hearn wants him to be a star. He said it after his victory over Suarez, a first round knockout, where Whitaker won, but it was with I consider it a legal punch. But that didn't cover up and stop the show for what they were trying to do with Matchroom. But it was what transpired on the undercard that took me by storm. Now, on the undercard, there was a fight that took place that gave us really something to consider, sink your teeth into. And that was when super bantamweights Joe Mcgrail and Aaron Hayden took to the ring. These two men were young and undefeated sorts. Now, Hayden was the lead in the fight. He came in second, was announced second. He's 31 years of age, out of Rostingstall, Lancashire, UK. Now, he's an orthodox fighter, entering with a record of 10 wins, no losses, 2 KOs. When he made his way to the ring, he was celebrating during his ring walk, feeling full of pride, looking for glory. And when the bell rang for the first round, it was my first chance to see this young man. And I immediately noticed his disposition as he did his ring walk. And I thought to myself, I said, this kid is kind of cocky. Now, we've seen that before with the likes of Prince Nassim, even Ben Whitaker himself, and other fighters, not just UK fighters. But they come in and they showboat and they kind of stir the crowd before the fight, which is okay. But once that bell rang for the first round and I observed Hayden and how he fought, the first thing I said that Mcgrail, who entered with 12 wins, no losses, and 6 KOs, he's 23. I said, he's going to end up catching this kid because Hayden was boxing with his hands down by his knees and ducking his head in and out and changing from southpaw to orthodox every few seconds. I mean, it was really a sham. I didn't like this that I saw at all. And it was weird. Hayden came in and he was taunting Mcgrail. He was on the back foot, flicking his jab. He was changing, like I said, positions. And Mcgrail came out determined, high guard, but not like a high blocking guard, but hands up, suit. Working behind technical, precise punches, jabs to the face, jabs to the body, hooks, right hands. He was catching Hayden cleanly. And I was like to myself, I said, this is not going to last long. Where'd they find this kid? And lo and behold, come the 5th round, Mcgrail, who I had been giving the rounds to, I believe it was the 3rd round as it came to its end, both guys went in, were exchanging, really rearing the audience up. And you could see that it was on from that moment. But Hayden had no technical ability at all. And I figured it would just be a matter of time. And then the fateful 5th came. There was a clash of heads that caused a cut over the right eye for Hayden. But he didn't know how to tie up. He didn't know how to keep his hands up and stay out of danger. He was starting to get caught with clean shots from Mcgrail. And did I mention that Mcgrail had 5 knockouts going into this fight? So as I'm observing, the end came swiftly. And I noticed that Mcgrail, who had thrown somewhat of a hook off of a jab, then a right hand, and then a second right hand, and then the left hook, and down went Hayden to his knees, face forward on his knees. As the ref began to start a count, he sat back on his knees, looked up in the air, but you could see that he was in no condition to continue. And the ref, who had made a count to about 6 or 7, just waved the fight off. It was unfortunate that it had to be an embarrassing end for this guy. And the referee, Mark Lyson, looked as if he wanted to give him an opportunity to try to get up. But Hayden didn't. He didn't even attempt. The fight was over. You don't play boxing. When that bell rings, the objective is to take your opponent out. This was something where it was embarrassing for anyone supporting Hayden, anyone training with him in his entourage, crew, camp, whatever you want to name it. But it was a great example of what not to do in a fight. It was a great example of get your ish together. You're going to fight. Mcgrail did exactly what he was supposed to do. And I loved watching this because it shows exactly what I have always felt and thought about the sport. Taking care of business, being focused, being present, and taking no prisoners. I loved what I saw from the young man. And I hope that I get a chance to see him again. Speaking of Mcgrail, apparently he's from a fighting family and he has an older brother, Peter, that's fighting. Good stuff. Because in the ring, that square jungle, is where you can teach lessons every day. And he came out on top by teaching the ultimate lesson. You don't play boxing. As for Hayden, get a job, my friend, because boxing is not for you. And as I look forward to fights in the future, I know we'll see a lesson like this again because it comes at different levels. It's just that these two men were roughly in a similar space career-wise, not age-wise. But being 8 years older, Hayden showed no example of having any type of experience where he knew better. And he chalked it up to Joe teaching him the lesson on the night. The card ended with Whitaker versus Suarez. As I stated earlier, an unhappy ending there. But I got more out of the fight between these two young super bantamweights than the co and main event put together. But what do you think? This is Stormy B Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about the card overall, the fight that was canceled, and what did you think about my editorial on these two men? Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.